Hello and welcome to Jenny Ray Art. Today I'm going to be finalizing my series honoring the Japanese art of Kintsugi. This is where they repair broken pottery using gold. And the idea behind it is that while the pot before was lovely and useful, now that it has been broken and repaired, it is even better. It is even more beautiful and perfect. And I like to relate this to people and how we can go through traumatic events and hurts that can make us feel broken. But let me tell you, going through those things has made you more beautiful, stronger, and better than before. So here's a hint at the first 3 in this series. I will link those down below. Please go check out those videos and give them a like. As with the others in the series, I'm going to be using Bristol board. I have cut this down to an 8" by 10" size, which is a standard frame size. A lot of art paper for some reason comes in sizes that don't fit the standard frame sizes, but I highly recommend you cutting it down to one of those sizes to make it easier on yourself or whoever you're going to be giving or selling your piece to, so you don't have to pay for a custom frame. And I'm starting off with my trusty 4H pencil to sketch out lightly where I'm going to be putting each of the elements of the piece. I love my 4H pencil because the lead is so light that when I want to make a change, when I make an adjustment, I can erase it easily and it's not going to scar the paper or leave any shadows behind. But then I can also start making it a little bit darker, building up the lead to make it easier to continue the piece later with my ink. And here my cat Ray has become very curious on my piece and is getting her nose all up in my business. And no, that's not Ray like my last name Ray. She was actually named after the heroine of The Force Awakens. For this final piece, honoring the art of Kintsugi, I thought it'd be appropriate to use a Japanese woman. There's Ray again. Come on, girl, leave me alone. And now I'm sketching in the Japanese characters that are for Kintsugi over here on the right-hand side. I have a printout that I got from the computer to be able to follow to make sure that I did the characters just right. For the text down at the bottom, I wanted to make sure that I got it done just right. And so I printed it out on paper, and now I'm using my ebony pencil to color in on the back side, and so that way I can press it down on the paper exactly where I want it to be. And I'm outlining it with my 4H pencil. It will transfer the ebony pencil on the opposite side to my paper. And that way I can make sure that all of the letters are uniform in size and spacing and that they're not going to start going off on a slanted line or a wavy line. And now I'm starting the inking process. I use a number of alcohol-based inks in this, as well as some Posca pens and some other acrylic-based pens. And I just realized that I actually forgot to put in her broken pieces when I was doing my sketching, so here I am adding those back in. Ink pens I really like because you can build up a lot of layers with it and it's not going to make your paper all soggy. It's not going to start tearing it up and pulling little nubs of the paper off like you can find with certain paint pens, where really you can only get a layer, maybe 2, 3 is kind of pushing it before it starts tearing up the paper. I think paint pens might be better on different surfaces rather than just paper. And I end up using several different shades of the alcohol-based ink to get just the coloring that I want, and using shadows especially. Mostly for her skin tone, the one ink worked well, whereas in my other pieces I used a variety of different pens to use to get the skin tone that I wanted. But this particular pen that I found worked just well for the skin tone that I wanted. I just needed some other colors for the shadows and for her lips and the corners of her eyes. I really do like a lot of things about Japanese art. The classic art with the wood blocks and the stylized nature of their dragons and phoenixes, but I also really like the anime style and a number of the anime series, and so you'll see that influence in how I draw here with the large eyes and the block shadowing on the face and in the hair. Now here I'm using my very first paint pens on this piece, and I'm using it to get a nice dark color for her eyes. I want her eyes to be so dark brown that they're almost black. So there's almost just a little hint at the end when I get done blending in all of the colors that I wanted, just a little hint of brown there. Hair is going to be black, so I'm using a couple different shades of gray paint pens to put the highlights in her hair. Apologize, my camera was acting really wonky during this video, so you can see that sometimes the coloring just shifts for some reason. The lightness and the darkness change. I don't know why it was acting up so much during this particular video. Now I'm using this thinner acrylic paint pen from Opti Digital to outline her eyes and do some of the other details around her face. One thing I found about this ink pen is that it had a tendency to flick ink whenever I was doing any pushing on it, so I had to go back and clean up some of those little flicking pins. If I just pulled on it or maybe did like little circles, it was fine. And here you can see my camera decided to go out of focus, so I really do apologize for that. I didn't even notice that it was doing that. It's never done this before. It does get better. Bear with me. Fix itself. I'm using the gray paint pen, the same shade, one of the shades that I used in her hair, and I had to build up a few layers to get a smooth gray color on her kimono there, and that's where I did start seeing it starting to degrade the paper a little bit, and I was trying to be really careful. Japanese characters using that same paint pen, and like I mentioned with that flicking, it's same with calligraphy pens, that they really work better if you pull on them. Don't push, because then it'll cause the nib to flick the ink. I hadn't run into this issue using it before, but being more careful and just doing the pulling or doing in small circles to color in to reduce the amount of ink flicking. And with paint pens, when you're building up the layers, I recommend waiting for that first layer to completely dry before doing it again, so that way you're not making the paper too wet. Now I'm inking in those letters down at the bottom. The phrase for this piece is perfect in brokenness. Like I said at the beginning in the video, you can go through things that can make you feel completely broken and feel like you're questioning your own self-worth of, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? And let me tell you, it's just life. Things happen all the time to people. Everybody has some kind of scars, or some people are better at hiding them than others. Be proud of your scars. Be proud of the things that you have been through, because you're strong for doing that. Be a warrior in this life, and don't let these things break you down. Let them make you stronger, and lead the charge for other people that have gone through these same things. I've said before in previous videos, I'm going through chronic illnesses, and my children have gone through problems, and I have shared about that with many people that are going through similar things and given them inspiration and hope, and just knowing that there's someone else out there, that you don't feel like you're all alone. Using my white paint pen to clean up some of those little splatters from that black ink pen, and doing the shine of her eyes, and now erasing the pencil lines left over and some other little touch-ups. And now here is the final piece, perfect in brokenness. Okay, so after looking at all the pieces together, the first piece that I did, I realized that her break lines seemed just a little bit too similar to another one in the series, so I want break lines a little more unique. So I went back in and added some extra details. And here are all four in this series, honoring Kintsugi and honoring all of those people who have overcome or are still going through those challenges in their life. You are broken, but you are stronger. You are broken, but you can be healed. You are beautiful and perfect in your brokenness. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe so that you can catch more videos that I create in the future. Have a great day.